Hi guys, can you hear me? Let's bring the air conditioner down. One more. Okay, good. How you guys doing? Good? Can you hear me? It's more of a last minute thing because I don't think I'll be able to do live stream next week, so I thought I'll just do one today. Thanks for the coffee, Vault Dweller. Hi, Melogify. Well, welcome to the live stream. Chris, hi. Hick and Roll. Hi, Wally. Hi, Todd. Okay, can you hear me just fine? Good, cool. Pentatonic scales. Alright, that's good. Try not to get too caught up in that. I have a couple of students who are so into the pentatonic scale because the teachers taught him pentatonic scale and nothing else. On the contrary, when he came to me, I didn't teach him. I didn't even touch on pentatonic. I just went on major scale. And that's the thing that you should get yourself familiarized with. You know, once you're stuck with pentatonic scale, that's all you play. You know, and it's gonna be very hard to get to play something melodic, because if you're on a major scale, you get to know about the semitones, you know, right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, you know. So all these are all melodic stuff that you will need to know. But if you're gonna just stick on to pentatonic scale, you know, you're gonna be very hard and very subtle to play all these semitones. Yeah. Danielle, DeAndre, hi, how are you? Joe, how are you, Joe? Long time no see. Hi, Eric, ni hao. Stefano, hi, how are you? Stefano Zolino. That's a sexy name, man. I wish I had a name like that. Jonathan. Jonathan Sofino. Oh, man. Yeah. You know, don't go overboard with just a pentatonic scale, or any scale for that matter. You know, later on as you get along, you learn about modes and all that. So it's basically, you know, a major scale, but with different bass pedal tone, and you can understand, oh, this is how a Dorian mode sounds like, this is how a Lydian sounds like, you know. So it's good to get your major scale doing, you know. And there's two ways to approach modes, you know. And yeah, you get there. Good, Joe? Yeah, okay, good. That's good to hear. Yeah, Jonathan Spaghetti. Yeah. Maybe we should get an Italian name. Well, I know my name in Jew is Jonathan. You know, it's the same. Jonathan. I think they pronounce it as Jonathan. Jonathan. That's how they pronounce it. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, I did. I thought I missed out the. I'm going to do a bit of shout out to some guys, some wonderful people who sent me birthday gifts. You know, I want to thank City Music. Yeah, you know, I want to thank Jeanette, the lovely Miss Jeanette from Davis. You know, and Miss Esther who passed me this. This is so cute. Right, this is like one of my favorite concerts to have listened to for a long time. This is the alternate. What is this? The alternate. What did it say here? The alternate broadcast. 1998. Nice. And she gave me pics because she's a collector of pics. Thank you, Esther. Maybe you'll see her later here. Hey, hi Richard. How are you? I'm good. Okay, Hikaru. Fortunately, if you know the Pentatonic, it's pretty easy to learn the major scales from there. You can add the extra steps in the Pentatonic scales without too much problem. True, but there are guys who are, knowing the major, the semitones is another thing. Your muscle memory has been committed to your hands and to your brain. So those guys who are playing Pentatonic a whole lot, it's kind of hard for them to kind of translate to semitones. But some of them do, and that's good for them. Well, Hikenro, John is too John is too loud. How many languages do I speak? Not much. Chinese, English, Malay, well, smattering of Malay, a whole lot of dialects, smattering of Italiano. That's about it. Yeah. Hi, Sergio. Hola. Yes, I did. Podgo. I did. Podgo. I actually did a review for that. Yeah. Yes, Scooter. It's a nice gift. Yeah, very thoughtful of them. Nice little notes, like, Jeanette passed me a little note too. And this is a note from City Music, Yeah. So I just want to give a shout out to them. Yeah. Thank you, guys. And a couple of stuff to feature tonight. Va bene. Tutto bene. Yeah, certain stuff to feature, but let's just start off with this guitar behind. Yeah, so you remember this, right? This is the PT Special. So I went to Wayne's house on Wednesday, even if let me say yes, on Wednesday. You all recollect that I swapped the bridge pickup to one of his own. He actually wired for me a Anika 3 bridge, tiny bridge pickup, which I really love. It's been overwhelmed to the extent that it gives a little bit more output. It's a little beefier. But I have problems with this whole connection because there's something not right with the even with the four-way switch where you can actually have a series to parallel. It didn't quite work, and found out that the bridge pickup was a little bit weak, so I brought it back to him, and then in the course of it, I changed to another pickup that he wound, which is on Aneco 5. A little bit more winding than normal. It's about 80, if not mistaken, or 83, something like that, 8.7, sorry, 8.3. The other one that he wound for me was about 9. So brought it home, I tried it, but in the meantime, when I was with him, I changed my V90 pickups covered from black to chrome, which I think was pretty cool, because it kind of matches the bridge, the metal bridge. So I thought it was pretty cool, and of course the chrome tuners and the chrome knobs and everything. So the chrome top looks nice. In any case, I took it back home. I tried the Aneco 5, the new Aneco 5. I didn't like it. It was a bit too bright. So now I know the differences between Aneco 5 and Aneco 3. So Aneco 3 has a little bit more warmer tone because of the winding and because of the magnet that's been used. Yeah. And I'm going back to his place next week to swap it back to the Aneco 3. That's about it. And I finally got a white tusk string tree to complement the nut. So now it's color coordinated. I want to thank Wayne for that, because I swapped my black tusk string tree with his white ones, because he had a couple of them lying around. Oh yeah, and he did. I think some of you guys actually complained about the. Some of you who own this have complained about the strings slipping from the saddles or brass saddles. So he notched it for me. So he kind of like cut it into the, just kind of use a file and cut it so that the string was stay in the notch, in the groove, and it worked. Because the irritating part is that the strings would slide around. Sometimes you get into that groove where the adjustment for the height is, where the screw is, and then it becomes a sitar. You know, so it's not nice. So now it's just okay. Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, this is what I did to this guitar. It's almost there. It's almost there. Once we get the series the Paro thing working, then it'll be complete. Mm-hmm. Hi, Paulo. Scamagio. What do you call me? Jonino. Oh. Not bad, not bad. Ultra pink. Hola. Isabel Espanol. No, not so good. In the opinion, what is the most versatile? What is the most versatile guitar? The Stratocaster. Most versatile, especially with single humbucker. That's the most versatile guitar available. Highlight it. Oh yeah, I had a good tea brunch. No, tea lunch with him. I'm gonna show you. Let me see now. I'm gonna show you what we had. Window capture, display capture. What should I be going for? Oh, I forgot how to work this. Okay, so it's window capture. I'm going to share a couple of photos so you guys can just kind of gawk at what we had for tea today, this afternoon. I had a good time with Thomas, my friend Thomas. Can you all see this? Can you all see this? Oh, this is my screenshot. All right, I had this. This is a sort of like a passion fruit thingy. Really nice with pineapple. All right. Then I had what is this? Oh, okay, this is me, a shot of me with the drinks. And then this is what I had for my main course. This is like, what is this? This is like chicken with cranberry sauce. Really nice with mashed potatoes. Yeah, I enjoyed this one. And then what? Oh, truffle fries, I believe. Truffle fries, which is a nice touch. Yeah, it's all fattening. I didn't have this. Thomas ordered this, so kind of took one or two of the fries. That's about it. And of course, nothing is complete without a good cup of flat white. Yeah, this is nice. And no. I my birthday is not up yet. It's gonna be next week. Yeah, so it's not my birthday yet. In case you're here, Robert, you just text me. Right, and then I found out something really interesting because the guys in this joint, this is called Branches in Singapore. So it's a real quaint eatery with all nostalgic retro stuff all around the place. You know, like radios, tube radios, record players, phones, and all sorts of stuff. And came upon this, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah. So I can't play the audio because I'm gonna have a copyright infringement. It's the song Only You, and it's pretty cool. It's so cool. And it actually worked. You know, it's pretty loud. You know, the speakers are around here. This is where the speakers are. And he told me that this is even earlier than the ones with the horn. Remember, you guys remember HMV, his master's voice? We have this horn thing. So I'm thinking this could be earlier than that, or I don't know. So this is pretty interesting. Yeah. So that was what I did this afternoon, which is pretty cool. Thank you, Paulo. Thank you so much. Hi, Stevie. How are you? Earthquake Magoon. My wife will want a guitar. Yeah, I'll bet. Hi, Big Cole. All right. Okay, I missed out a whole bunch of you guys. Okay, so where beauty lays true. Look at that. Okay, the old school saddles are always problematic. Yeah, but I love them. I love the brass saddles. Danielle, this is a Schecter PT Special. I have a review of that also. Earthquake? No, I did not go riding this morning. I managed to switch my sleeping habit time back to the normal, and so for this couple of days, for the past 4 days, I've been like sleeping at my time at 12 a.m. and I wake up like about 7:30 a.m., which is good, like all normal people should do. For this live stream, I took a nap after I came back from all those food, so I took a nap just to be able to stay up for you guys. And after this live stream, I'll go back to bed again. Because yeah, I'll talk about this later on, because my schedule is going to change a little bit for the time being, because I have a production that I'm doing. So I'll be coming out with less videos, and I'll be concentrating on my arrangements and my production work. And that will probably like last me about a month or so, maybe a couple of weeks, you know. And once that's finished, then it's back to the reviews again. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hi, David. Oh, you had to do a counseling? Oh, yes, yeah. That's the way, David. That's the way we are. We never stop serving, you know. And you should, you should never stop, because you have a good heart, and you're a pastor. So, what can we do? Richard, yeah, Scooter. John, I lived in Mexico for 10 years. I didn't know this, but Mexico, actually, the whole Latin American culture has a huge music industry. Yeah. I noticed you telling the youngster at the interview. Yes. I wish you guys would embrace your local musicians. I agree, Asia has a large musical. No. What we're talking about, yeah, I mean, there are countries like in Asia that has a very good, vibrant music industry, like Taiwan, for example. Even Malaysia, our neighbor, our immediate neighbor. Malaysia has a very vibrant music industry because of their Malay songs, and they sell albums. You know, like what you guys do, you know, and then Indonesia, same thing. They have their own artists, except Singapore. Singapore does not have a local music industry. What I mean by local music industry means it means like local musicians coming up with their own stuff. We used to have it back in the 60s, 70s. Then we kind of lost it around after mid 70s or late 70s, where everybody just kind of gravitate to its foreign bands and you know, and stuff like that. But back in the 60s and 70s, we still have like local groups coming out with albums and selling albums and really good sales. Yeah, like I said, you know, it kind of fizzled out, and we never recover from that. And there are a couple of great local acts, you know, but yeah, it just didn't. The record sales did not make any impact on their status as musicians, because they just can't survive. Yeah, the record sales are mediocre, you know, mediocre at best. Whereas if you look at Taiwan, you look at Hong Kong. Hong Kong has a great local music industry, you know, in the Canto pop, and yeah, that's the sad part about Singapore. Sean S, I watched the review for the Sire S7, but I just saw there's a T7 with tremolo coming soon. Nice. Hi, Oren. How are you? What? It's 9:20 a.m. here in Arizona in the States. Cool. So you're in Arizona, Earthquake. Scooter is in Arizona. He's in Phoenix. And there's another guy in Tucson, Bear. Hi, there you go, Bear. I was just mentioning you. Yeah, Bear is in Tucson. So you three should get together. So cool. You've got a guitarist and ready to steal licks? Well, maybe later we'll play some guitar. Oh yeah, and in keeping the tradition of show and tell, I got this from Cine Music, who sent this for review. Did you guys watch the review that I did for the Blackstar Dept 10 booster? Yeah, you guys should go and watch it because it's a pretty interesting boost pedal. So this is also from Blackstar. This is their overdrive unit, which I think is pretty cool to look at. It's a dual channel overdrive pedal. Okay. It's got an XLR out, USB audio out, meaning you can just hook this up directly to your computer, and it's got a send and return. So this act like, I don't know, like an amp in many ways. So you have two sets of overdrive, one set of EQ where your bass, middle, treble, and then the ISF, you know, where you can kind of switch between the American sound and the British sound. Two channels of gain and level, right? And input, output, there's a cap rig, so I think you can hook this up to a cap simulator. Or no, sorry, I think this is directly going out to something else, maybe a real cap, like a speaker system. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe this XLR out has a cap sim, and there is a editor provided, so you can kind of like, yeah, do all your adjustment through your computer, which I think is pretty interesting. All right, so you have all these outs. Yep, it's cool. And yeah, Dept 10, it's mostly Blackstar's pedals. They have a tube in it. So this is a ECC38, if I'm not mistaken, tube in it. Comes with their own power supply, but it runs nicely on the normal 9-volt power supply. So that's what I did for the Dept 10 boost. Oh, you got a first tally? Cool. Right, Scooter, way to go. And then there is this virtual whammy virtual tremolo system from this company that's based in Australia called Fomo FX. And I wrote them because I saw a review of this thing. I was going, whoa, this is right on my alley, because you know I love wanging my bar. So I thought this concept is pretty neat. So I wrote to them, and the CEO, Peter Walker, if you're watching this, Peter, thank you for your personalized note and letter to me. So he kind of sent me this this unit, which I'm going to install like when I had the time to play around with this. Once I finish my arrangements, I'll be able to do all sorts of stuff. But for now, I'm just kind of like, mentally I'm kind of tied up in finding out what to do with arrangements. So this is the box, right? Nice packaging, and it kind of slides up this way. And then all these items are here. Like, it comes with so this is a brain. So this is where everything happens, right? So I'm going to show you the virtual bar, virtual tremolo system. So it comes with a real nice casing that says Virtual Jeff. And it comes with a lot of accessories like brackets and connecting wires and stuff like that, the connectors and all that. And then this is the actual trem itself. And this is the wireless unit, so you can actually use this wirelessly. So there's a bracket for this wireless receiver or transmitter, and you can hook it up to your strap. And this is how the virtual tremolo arm works. Alright. So all you need to do is to fix this to your tally. or Les Paul, any guitar that doesn't have a tremolo system. And they provided tapes for you to mount on brackets, to mount the brackets, not this slide into your bracket, so you can they gave you 2 brackets so you can have like 2 guitars. But yeah, the thing is that with the bracket, this kind of like mar the look of your guitar a bit. So it's going to look like that if you take off the system. So you mount the bracket in a way where, you know, in a position where you find it's comfortable, and then you kind of slide this thing in, and then this is how it works. So voila, you have a tremolo system. And it's not just about this. It's the thing that impressed me is the well, so far on the video that I've seen, the master unit where everything happens, this box, there's no lag. In fact, everyone says there's no lag, so I don't know yet. I have to try this out yet. But what I'm hearing is the transparency of the guitar signal. Even when there's a whole lot of pitch fluctuation, I don't hear any difference in the tonality of the guitars, you know. But so far, I'm hearing a lot of distortion. There are a couple of guys who actually did some nice clean sound, and I thought that was pretty good, you know. And you can actually kind of wang up not just individual pitch, but the whole thing. Like, you know, you can bring up the pitch, or say from you're in G, you can go up, you know, depending on how many steps you have programmed into it, right? So you can actually save two patches. So you can actually program it to 5. So on the extreme, it just goes up 5 pitch up, like that, you know. And it's not just one pitch, it's not just one string, but the whole G chord will just go up to the 5th, right? In this case, it's be G, F sharp, you know, it's G to D, yeah. Or you program it to the 4th, and you just go up to C. So it's pretty cool. And there's many things you can do. You can go down and wang down to 2 octaves. So you go wow, and you can go up to 12. This means 1 octave. Yeah. So you can have all these funny effects, and you can also do like detuning. You can have it whole, where you can have like the original tone of the guitar, the original tuning guitar, and the augmented tuning, you know, playing at the same time. So I thought that's pretty interesting. Yeah, pretty interesting. So I'll play with it, and I'll let you guys know. I'll probably do a review on this. I think this is a really nice concept for guys like me who loves to play with a tremolo system. Yeah. Hi, Joe Dix. So Scooter, you have discovered the sweet spot of a tally middle position. That's what everybody goes for, like, you know, the in between sound. Yeah, the middle position. Nice. Well, wireless system, it depends, because I've used a whole lot of wireless system when I'm playing live, you know, and sometimes I find them to be problematic because of the frequency that's been used. And when you're talking about a big stage with a lot of microphones running wirelessly, and then you have your own wireless system, even sometimes they run on different frequencies and all that, you know. Yeah, it caused a little bit of a problem, especially back in the early stages, back in, talking about 98, you know, 1998, 97, where I used to do, like, you know, big concerts, and we would have like frequencies coming into our guitar, and sometimes I will pick up radio stations, and sometimes the police band in Chinese, of course, and I'll be like, what was that, you know, and it's pretty cool. And then as the years went by, it got better. So the recent gig that we did in Vegas, and even in some in China, It was okay. They can't square it all away. Quick, I'm just relearning how to play guitar again. I was in a punk band. Nice. You had that punk hairstyle too, back then. Bear, okay, Bear, what do you say, Bear? Do you ever use solid state amps? Yeah, I used to have a couple of solid state amps, and I like them. I love them actually. I love them a lot, but that was like, my earlier years, where all I can afford are solid state amps. Yeah, I used to have an old Yamaha which I bought used. That thing weighs a ton, and it was made in Japan. It's a solid state amp which I really love. I don't know where is it. I think it's in one of my former church. Jodix, I almost bought a Telecaster style thin line guitar today, but I lost the auction. Arvin, would be cool to sample bits of Chinese police. Yeah, it'll be cool. And I got a story for you, Arvin, since you always like all this spooky story. I have a quite a spooky story because I was sharing this with my brother Thomas as we were having lunch. I forgot what is it. It'll come back to me. Oh, really? A flock of seagulls hairstyle? Whole lot of gel. Yeah, you need a whole lot of gel. Hi, John. John Way from Belgium. Yeah, all this, the hairstyles from the 90s and the 80s, you need a whole lot of slab of gel to keep it standing up. And I remember when I was younger, the hair that I had more hair then. But the hair tends to kind of like be stronger on its roots so that it's able to stand up. Nowadays, is everything just go flabby. Age. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I told Thomas. I wish. Oh yeah. Okay. There is this story, but it involves my wife because before we became Christians, my wife was able to see like stuff, and the amount of stuff that I went through with her because I dated her when she was really young. And she used to see stuff like in empty buses or in places where we would go like in the night. We'll go out, hang around in certain places in the parks and all that, and she would see stuff, and we would have to leave the place. But there was this occasion where I had a band back in the 80s, and we were a tight group. We were called Rubber Band, in case y'all guys missed out on that interview that I had, which is a true thing. We were called Rubber Band, and we had two guitarists in the band. So the other guy was Tony, so real nice cool guy. He's residing in Germany right now. Yeah, he up and moved over there. But back then he was with his ex-wife, in an apartment. And there was one night we decided to head out to his house. That was like after our set, about 3 a.m. Head down to his house to play some Nintendo games. So there was me, my wife, my bassist Peter, the late Peter, who passed on, and three of us went over to his house. And Tony was driving, so he kind of like drove us all over to his place. And we were trying to keep it down, but we were playing Nintendos. We get a bit a bit noisy, but we try to keep it down because the ex-wife was sleeping with his kids and all that. Out of nowhere, when we were playing, my wife Dora, she just kind of like said, "Hey Tony, are we too loud?" And Tony said, "Oh, I think it's okay because the room is kind of far away." Yeah, but Dora says, because I saw an old man sitting on that chair, and he might be your father. I think we woken him up. And Tony just kind of like look at her and says, okay, what is he wearing? And he says, she told Tony that she was wearing a really old traditional kind of old style top, and with like pajamas bottom, but he didn't look angry. He was just sitting there. He has a white beard, and Tony go, okay. So Tony went to his room. He appeared a few minutes later, with a whole big portrait, he showed it to Dora and says, does he look like this? And Dora said, yeah, that's him. And Tony went back to the room, put back the portrait, and came back. That's my dad, and he passed on like 15 years ago. And we all go like, we left the place right after. We said, okay, Tony, good night. We are really too loud. I think we disturb more than your family. So yeah, so we better go. So we all up and left. And that was pretty pretty neat at that time. And like I mentioned many times before, I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in all this. I believe in the demonic. So I still believe that these are all familiar spirits. They come in familiar form to kind of spook you to believing in ghosts and all that stuff. So yeah. Mullets. I still have mullets, I guess. Bear, T. Tarbury uses only transistor solid state amps. I love his music. He's in King X. Cool. Did a recent Hunter's Moon inspire you to write a song? No. Hi, Kamukama. You're from Kampala, Uganda. Hey, hi. How are you? Well, exactly. A lot of people had mullets at that time, so. MacGyver had a coup. Yeah. No, we weren't playing music. We were just like playing with Nintendo. Remember Nintendo, the game machine? Yeah. So maybe she just came out to say hi. But like I said, I don't think it's him. I don't believe it's him. Familiar spirit, remember? We had a lot of stuff happening back in the days. When we were playing weird stuff. Like, we actually share a weird story about this. This is a band before Rubber Band, right? This is another band that we play in this Jon Koh Atlantis. As you all might imagine, the club is made to look like the backdrop of Little Mermaid. Like, you're in underground where you have like rocks and stuff. And it's really nice. It was designed by a Disney guy, or a former Disney guy, and they put in a lot of money in the whole interior decor, where you can see like a lot of shadows, but they're like water, like how it would look like under the water. So you have big rocks, and then you have like Neptune or whatever hanging around. And the stage, when you look at the stage, there are floodlights, and there will be like corals and rocks covering on the top. It's really nice. Okay, they spend a whole lot of money. And I was playing there with a couple of bands side by side, and there was this band that was playing with. And one of the musicians will always fall where the floodlights are at, and we were going like, why does he always fall at that? And then we found out that one of the workmen who actually worked on that coral on top of the stage, actually fell in that floodlight well, and actually died there. So that was one of the casualty about this place. So it became like a superstition thing, like his ghost is still haunting the place, and I didn't believe in all that. So there was one night I was playing with my band, and we were rocking away. I remember we were playing a song by Pat Benatar, if I'm not mistaken, Hit Me With a Best Shot or something like that. And we were playing, and then I didn't hear the organ, I didn't hear keyboard, so I turned around and I looked at my keyboard player. And he was staring at his keyboard, going like, and I went over to him with my guitar, still playing, and said, "Hey, what happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? You have anything disconnected?" And he didn't say a word. He just bent down. He picked up his two left-right jacks and just plugged it in again, and then we had keyboard sound. So I was thinking maybe he was dancing, and then he kind of like stepped on the the wire, and the wire just came loose, and we continued the song, and then the next song happened, and then again I don't hear his keyboard, so I went over to him. I said, "Look, what happened?" And he was looking at me with his face, and it's like kind of pale, and he told me he saw the left right jack from his keyboard just came out like this, and then dropped to the floor. And he says, I don't know what to do. I said, okay, now I just pick it up and we'll play again. And it didn't happen after that. And after that, everything went smooth. And off stage, after the set, we talked about it. And he says that this is the first time this ever happened to him. And he was like freaked out and said, okay, never mind, it's okay. And I wasn't a Christian then, so we didn't know how to pray and stuff like that. And these are some of the things that happened in the club. And there was one night when we were playing, and there was mass hysteria. So in case you guys don't know what is mass hysteria, it happened quite a lot in Singapore. Like, but what happened was we finished our last set, and then we're waiting to go back. And the waitresses and stuff were changing, and most of them are women, females, And I don't know where this mass hysteria hit, and everyone came out running, and some of them were half dressed, without the top, and they were running, crying, and out, and we're going, what happened, And then I believe my bassist says, well, I don't care what happened. We had a show. We just enjoy what the view is. I go, no, man, it's bad. So they all came out running, and after a while they kind of settled down, went back to the changing room, grabbed our stuff, and they all left. So we know what happened, So so this is some of the spooky stuff that happened in Singapore, back then. Anyway, back to you guys. What camera do I use for my videos? I'm using a Sony A64. Am I mistaken? Is it A64? Yeah, it's A64. Troy Wheeler. Oh man, what's news? How is the world treating you? World's treating. If you're talking to me, you're talking to me, son. World's treating me good. Yeah. Buzz Lightyear, Octopus Garden. Colin, hey, hi, how are you, Colin Diaz? Jinx, I don't know. Hit me a best shot, yes. Does anyone here like value guitarists like me, Donna, Gary? Alright, Bear, you take care. What's a good prayer to exercise? You don't exercise that place. What you need to do is just tell Jesus to come, protect. Just ask Jesus to be where you are, and just tell Jesus this, cleanse the place. And you have the authority to say, just pray a prayer over that place. You don't have to exercise the place. In fact, you don't have the jurisdiction to do that. Leave it to the pastors to do it. Leave it to David, guys like David, the good guys who know what they're doing. Just don't go into place. Don't do things that you're not supposed to do. Or be wise, like what the Bible says. Be wise as a serpent. Be as innocent as doves. So I believe that we all, if like me, I've shared with you guys. I travel. I cycle at night, in the dead of night. I go everywhere in the dark. I'm not afraid because I know God is with me. So Bye, Bear. Class Westland, do you play any other instruments than guitar? A bit of keyboards. Yeah, I do some keyboards. No, I'm not. I'm not John Constantine. No way. I see a lot of stuff, in not only in the clubs. I've seen it in my Christian walk. I've saw, how people are delivered, and yeah. But I don't want to be in that ministry. I don't think I'm cut out for that ministry. I'm cut out for different ministries. But I think it's good to be aware as a Christian about all these things that the devil has up in his sleeve. Yeah. I play a tambourine. Yeah, pretty well. Drums? No. Finger drums. Yeah. I do my own programming, so it's on a keyboard. Still keyboards. And I'm a bad keyboard player, Thank you, Troy. So my show and tell is done. The upgrade on this guitar is done. What else is there? Hook up my guitar and play. Let's play the. Let's give the tally a go. Let me hook it up. The one who wake up the neighbors. Hi, John. Colin. Hey, John. Do you have a guitar maintenance routine for both acoustic and electric? Yes, I do. I actually maintain my guitars. Like, you know, my acoustic guitar, I would like oil my fretboard like once every 6 months, 8 months. Because it doesn't get really dry here, not like you guys, you know, in winter. So I would oil my acoustic guitars fingerboard, like the Martin and the Taylor that I have, and that's about it. Oh, and then make sure I change the strings and polish the top. Yeah, and that's what I do. Let's see what I get sound here. So for my electric guitar, I do the same thing, but sometimes clean off, you know, some of the smudges, especially in hardware, where you have, you know, all this stuff. Bring down the volume, you know, but oh my god, this thing is like getting in the way. I wonder if there's a sound there. The Fusion? Yeah, I still do. It's still with me. But I'm trying to sell off my other Fusion Pro, which is the single. The double, single, double. Remember the old Fusion? Yeah. Trying to sell it. I don't hear sound. Well, I'm not hearing. Well, it's there, but it's very soft. You guys hear anything? Hi, Ellen. Lellinger. Where are you from, Ellen? Why is there no sound coming in? This is so strange. It's too soft. Sound from the okay, silly me. Now I know why. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so soft. Oh, that's because it's been picked up by the mic. It's not turned on. Now it is. Yeah, so I hope I answer your question, Colin. So for electric guitar, sometimes you have smudges on your hardware part where the chrome is. So I try to keep them as clean as I can. Reason why is because if you don't clean them often enough, it becomes a stain in many ways, and then, you know, oxidization will form, and it doesn't look nice unless you're really into relic. Into relicing a guitar. So I like to keep my guitar looking new as long as possible. Or when the nut and binding starts to yellow, it will further enhance the look of the tele. I hope so. I mean, I don't know. Okay, it's distorting right now, so that's not good. This would be a good level. So I'm playing through the HT20. I like this amp a lot. And I thought this amp is a really good amp. Born in Costa Rica. Nice. Renzo Guterres is from Bolivia. How are you? Welcome. Okay, so since we're here, I'm going to show you a couple of licks. Right, so something that you can kind of apply if you guys don't know it yet. And it's really like a something that I do a lot. If you watch a lot of my videos, I'm just doing double stops. I'm gonna play like like a clean sound if I can. So I'm in the key of G, right, and so you can do this in any key, but in the key of G, if you know your precision, this is a G, right? This is a G, so you can actually do here. If you're doing the D shape, this is also a G. So if you know your chord shapes, that will really help. You can do it here. And then if you're doing up here, which is also a G, this is an A shape. Like it looks very familiar, like a B flat, right? Like an A shape, right? So it's up here, and you can actually do it here too, like Then the last one would be the F shape again. And after a while, you if you know where your chord shapes are, you kind of know that everything is like kind of interconnected. They're interconnected, and you can do whatever scales you want, or in this case, I'm doing all these double stops. And you can kind of variate your double stops instead of like doing, right? You can do and just vary it. Sometimes I'll do like this is a nice one. So a normal scale will go. And then you can do kind of like a. So my thing is that when when I teach, I would tell my students that stuff like this, like it's a real common thing. expand from there, because every kind of like lick you can always expand from there. So you can kind of expand it in many ways. Right, it's one, it's two, and then I want to show you about. So you can kind of expand it in many variations to hit on different notes rather than the traditional. You can slur it. So this is also like a double stop, but you kind of slurring it. So you can actually play like that by hitting on, by tapping on, right? And then all this can be kind of like interlinked with other techniques like dance and whatever. So I like to do like a combination of all this. It's like martial art where you combine different moves, to beat your opponent or to execute a certain sequence, right? So you can always use like different techniques just to accomplish a certain passage. So sometimes I could go like. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to tell you. Hope this helps. Troy, I know that everyone's tastes are different, but what should a professional guitar feel and play like? Good question. Alan Leninger, I'll get back to you, Troy. John, I'm dealing with problems playing proper time with another instrument. Any recommendations on how to fix it? Timing is killing me. Well, first find out whether the other guy is playing in time. If you're playing through a backing track, then you know that backing track is in time, so the problem is you. But if you're playing with another player, sometimes it's the other player who's not in time. But as far as you are concerned, you got to practice with either a metronome or a drum machine, and that will really help. And you always hear the what the pros will tell you, especially from the LA cats will tell you, getting in the pocket, getting everything in the pocket, and it's easier said than done because it's a hard thing to do. But I guess with time and practice, you will be able to do it. So the trick is not to rush, which is a hard thing for all of us. Given the fact that we get excited when you are playing like an upcoming solo or intricate part, we get excited, so we tend to rush. The trick is just to kind of lay back and be like those cats, those LA cats, just one reason why they took weed and all that. to hang back, hang loose. That's what it is, a term. So you have to kind of like relax everything about your whole demeanor, like the way you approach music. Don't be too intense, but it's hard to do that, I guess, because when you're practicing a lick, or when you're like practicing at home with no one in the band, there's no live band, you're practicing with either a backing track or a drum machine, the tendency for you to rush is always there. So you have to make a conscious effort to kind of lay back, pull back. It's better to kind of be a little bit late than to be too early. Okay, so that's a rule of thumb. A little bit late is better than being too early. So something to think about. Buzz Lightyear, Troy, look at Willie Nelson's. I think it's all about the feel, sound, and personal choice. I have this Chinese Yamaha F20 200 plays better than any margins and turns I've played. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Troy, a professional guitar is a guitar that you are comfortable with. It doesn't have to be expensive. It just, if you feel good with it, like I feel extremely comfortable with this guitar, and this guitar is very affordable. You know, so it depends on your finger contour. You know, the makeup of your own physical hands, your fingers, and the sound, especially. You know, so it should sound like. Okay, so this is a very complex subject. For guys like us, we tend to have at least 3 guitars in our arsenal that we will use: the Tele, a Strat, and a Les Paul or a 335. It doesn't matter. So a Gibson, right? And then of course some of them would like have additional like the Flying V or the SG, whatever. That's because we want to have like different guitars for different textures, so you can use certain guitars for different kind of sound in the recording. Like some of us would get a Gretsch, for example, because you want a chimey tone. And we buy all these guitars not because we are guitars collectors, but because we need this different variation of tones for our recording. I bought this guitar because this tone is very different from the rest of my Teles. This has a very airy feel to it partly because of the chambered body. It's all chambered actually, in case y'all don't know. So this is a very resonant guitar, in contrary to what I initially thought. And you can tell by the way it sounds like, especially on the bridge pickup. It doesn't have that the solid sound of a Tele, you know. I mean, you can kind of duplicate it, but off the back. But it has that nice resonance to it, you know, especially in the middle pickup. I know, because I turned off my mic now, so it should be okay. Yeah, so that's the way guys like us would approach guitars when we want to procure a guitar. This is what goes on in our mind. So the guitar has to be comfortable, you know, and the pickups matter because we don't want too noisy a pickup, especially when you're recording. So single coils and all that, you know, when I'm recording in this room, and if I'm recording with this guitar, I have to turn off this light here because this will be interference, and this will cause a 60 cycle hum, depending on what mode I'm in. So right now it's in clean mode, so you don't actually hear it. So sometimes when I'm recording, I have to come and, you know, to position myself. That's why I have a great comfortable chair here where I can swivel left and right wherever I want, and I can find a sweet spot where I don't have any 60 cycle hum, and I'll just stay there and record my parts. So it's a bit tedious. Even when I was back in the studios, in pro studios, I have the same problem sometimes. So single coils, yeah, they present that problem. But then you have that tone, so it's a balance between do you prefer that tone, or do you want to cut out and eliminate a 60 cycle hum? So that's where our active pickups comes in, like, you know, EMGs and stuff like that. So I have a lot of EMG pickups, equipped guitars back in the days, because I was doing a whole lot of session, and I used the Luke a whole lot because the Luke is EMG equipped, and yeah, it's easy for me so that I don't have to, like, you know, find myself in a sweet spot and stuff like that. I can just play and it'll be quiet. And I use the Luke a lot on stage, because on stage you have a lot of power cans, lights, and what other equipment that you have, wireless or non-wireless, and you just need a quiet pickup, and that's the one that I use. So nowadays when I tour, I try to bring up guitars that are quiet, and that's the reason why I use the Luke a lot, or humbuckers equipped guitar, meaning 2 humbuckers. So I'm looking at the Jack Fowler, right? Jack Fowler is a no-brainer because it sounds good, it's quiet because it's humbuckers. And if I do need a single humbucker, I would tour with my Luke because it's, you know, AMGs. But lately I've been having like different thoughts about it. I'm thinking of touring with my orange Nick Johnston because I've changed to Pasadena's, and Pasadena's are just too nice to miss out on. So I'm going to tour with that, and because it's a humbucker in it, I can still get away with certain things. And yeah, so it's something to consider when you're looking for guitar when you're a professional, right? Still there? Still having reverb? Oh, okay. So yeah, could be this guitar is picking up what I'm saying. I must be like really loud. Okay, so I see you. How are you? From Switzerland. Nice. What is the best and easy way to find chords of a song? How to start? Find chords? Well, it's kind of hard to teach you. You got to know your chords first, and then play along with the song and find out where's the root of the song, what key the song is in, and that's where you can start. Because once you find out the key of the song, like for example, you're playing along and then you go, okay, this is in the key of G. After a while, you're gonna know that there'll be a cycle of fifth. That you'll know that in the key of G, there are a couple of chords that you always use, like C, D, A minor, B minor. So these are all the chords that we frequently use in the key of G, and this way you can kind of like, figure yourself around. Yeah. This is a Troy. This is a PT Special. Yeah. Is the echo gone? Is the echo gone now? Now the guitar is echoey because it's picked up by the mic. So if I turn off the mic. No, can I hear? Can you hear? Oh man. Yes, it's a bit confusing because I have two inputs coming in, one for the guitar, one for the mic. So sometimes I would turn on the other but missed out the other. So just this is part and parcel of live streaming. Alright, so I hope you guys get something from that. This is not the ideal setup that I have, because normally I would run a compressor before I hit the amp. In this case, there's no compressor involved, but I'm depending on the tubes to provide me with a sort of a compression, which it did. So at least it doesn't sound that bad. I just cannot function or play without a compressor these days, because the peaks are just a bit too distracting for me, you know. Hi Tony, so you're here. Yeah, P90s are nice, but they're noisy. Yeah, they're so noisy. But okay, I missed out this one. It's kind of strange that there are so many artists who found Christ. Alice Cooper, yeah. Alice Cooper is one interesting dude. You know, his testimony is like crazy. He's the one that got me thinking differently. You know, I mean, it happens to all of us who are Christians at one stage where we become like real super spiritual, and then we become sort of like the Pharisees and the Sadducees, where we judge, you know, other people, non-Christians and Christian alike, that we'll cast on a judgmental look upon them. But guys like Alice Cooper kind of like took me off that mindset, and the fact that he's doing all this makeup and doing rock songs and doing crazy lyrics, but you notice all the lyrics are crazy, but they're not satanic in any way. They don't demean God. They don't mean anything bad or sinister. It's just interesting storytelling. And yeah, so it got me thinking, like, you know, we as followers of Christ, you know, we should just do, instead of preaching a lot and instead of being very judgmental, we should just go out and just love people, irregardless of where they're coming from, and not to kind of like heap down judgment and criticize them verbally or anything like that. I think we leave this to God. God is the one who is the judge. What we are here at primarily is to function as a as a tool in God's hand. So I try to encourage as much as I can, and teach if I'm called to, but I guess more or less I'm called to love, which is really hard to do because there's some obnoxious people around. I'm being transparent, right? So that's the challenge. I think God placed a lot of obnoxious people along my way, and yeah, that's where the real test comes in. But we're not just talking about obnoxious people to love. We're talking about guys who are struggling. I won't label them as weak, because a lot of us are weak in many sense of the word. But guys who are struggling through emotional turmoils and depression, you know, stuff like that. They need someone to talk to. They need a friend, basically, and they don't know God. So we function as a tool in that aspect. So we become a opportunity for them to speak out what's from their heart, and try to talk to them and pray for them as much as we can. Yeah. That's what I think we should do. What is 6:18 a.m. in New Zealand? No way, really? Or 6:18 p.m. I love Alice song, I Never Cry. Schools out forever. Yes, including enemies. You know, and it's a hard thing to do. You know, a lot of stuff in the Bible that what the Bible teaches us is kind of hard to do, but I think we can do it. I think one of the ways to do is, when we're talking about forgiveness. Forgiveness is something that is really hard, especially when we've been hurt really bad, and it takes time. I think, if you read the Bible, and when God says there's a time to heal, there's a time, there's a time for everything. There's a time for war. There's a time for peace. And you understand that when God says all this, that time is of the essence. I mean, look at you guys. You guys are probably some of you guys here are like, my age or younger, but you know that time is catching up because your hair starts getting fairer, like mine. Your steps are a little slower than when you were in the 20s. That your mind tend to wander a little bit sometimes, especially when you haven't had your first cup of coffee in the morning, or your bone starts to ache a little bit when it gets colder. So that time is not on our side, but God says that there's a time for everything. So I believe there's a time for forgiveness. There's a time to be angry, and there's a time to defend yourself, but and a time to love. So there's a season for everything. And when the Bible says all this, we kind of know that, for a matter, like there's a time for me to do certain things that God wanted me to do. And sometimes when it's not time, don't even try to do it because you'll fall flat in your face. But I done that. But each and every time, God was the one who picked me up from from the tarmac. He picked me up, and I moved on again. So like the YouTube, I could have started this YouTube channel like years before, 4 or 5 years before, but I didn't, because somehow I just didn't feel the inkling to do. And then when I did start it, it was through my prayer to God and me asking God, so when's the right time to start this YouTube, and why should I start a YouTube? And God blessed me with you guys. You guys came along, and we forged a friendship and brotherhood, and I'm blessed. So it's all timing, it's all season. There's a time to do this, there's a time to do that. So for you guys, it's something to think about, whether there's this guy who says, what's his name again? I don't know whether he's still around. Alan, right? Alan Laringer. You said that you just picked up guitar again. So maybe this is a time for you to start making music and start blessing people with your music. Music always brings joy to people. So, yeah. Anyway, it's interesting to think about this. Earthquake. I used to ride my bike up Alice Cooper's driveway during weekly bicycle race training. Never saw him. That's nice. Yeah. Kamukama, that's interesting, is 8:22 p.m. in Uganda. It's still a Friday evening. Nice. So you're a couple of hours behind me. So it's interesting that Tony, you're like a couple hours, 4 or 5 hours before me. I mean, yeah. So it's 6:21 a.m. Saturday morning. Now I'm at 1:30. Yeah, 1:30 a.m. on Saturday morning. Yeah. Hi, Chris. Fellow Singaporean. Troy Wheeler. There are well-known musicians who are believers, but won't mention his name publicly because of fear of losing gigs. Yeah, I know. And it's a shame, because some of the stuff that I went through as a Christian in my gigs, in my secular gigs, because I play in the Chinese, predominantly Chinese market. So I play on these Chinese concerts in Taiwan as well as in China. And before I became a Christian, it was not a problem for me, because we Chinese are a superstitious lot. So before we start the show, the day of the show itself, after the sound check, we will all gather for prayer, and they'll pray to all sorts of gods, to the north, to the south, to the east, so that the concert will go smoothly, and there will be offerings of a lot of pork, and fruits and stuff like that. But I never joined in any of the ceremony. But we just went there just to pay, you know, kind of like what we Chinese say is to give face to the producers because they would expect us to be there. And I won't pray, but I will just stand there with them. And yeah, basically they will ask for like safety, like, you know, no one will get injured during the show. And that is the norm for all Chinese concerts. But ever since I became a Christian, I stopped doing that, and I thought it would be polite to just tell the organizers, especially the promoters or the producers, that I won't be joining you guys, you know, because I'm a Christian, and I will pray. I will pray for the safety of all the musicians, the dancers, the artists, and technicians, you know, by ourselves. If I have a couple of Christian musicians, which I do all the time. The band that I tour with in China, they're predominantly like Taiwanese and mainland Chinese. They're mostly Christians, so we would pray together. And there was this tour that I did with this artist called Ame. I started doing that, like, you know, they had their own prayer in the afternoon, but right before the show, I would like grab the hands of some of the dancers. 4 of them came from the States, so yeah, and a couple of Taiwanese female dancers in the band, and we just pray. And it became a norm, and even the artist herself joined in because she's a Christian too. And we would just join and pray before the show starts, you know, right below the stage, and that became a norm. And yeah, this is what we do. So I'm not ashamed to be labeled as Christian for my secular gigs. I mean, some of them may have problem with acknowledging the fact that they're Christians, but never a problem for me. Yeah. Thomas Duffy, what do I think of the Nick Johnson Schecter? I think they're great, great guitar. You know, I have no regrets buying it. Yeah. But that being said, I have problems with the tremolo system, because it wasn't that as stable as I thought it should be. Yeah, that's quite disappointing. The pickups are cool. The pickups are like, you know, they are the Diamond Series pickups, and they suffice. Good single coil pickups, but like all single coil pickups, they will have 60 cycle hum, but nice tone, really strat like. So that's what I like about the Nick Johnson, and the neck, easy to play, you know. Yeah, but apart from that, I had problem with the tremolo system. That's why I changed to a Vega Trem, and I wanted something a bit more beefier. And the color that I like, the orange, at that time, Davis only had like single. It didn't bring in a single humbucker. They have it, but in different colors. So now recently they kind of brought in, which is a bit, yeah. So I bought the single, triple single, just because I love the orange color. And I changed the pickups to Pasadena's, which I think are one of the most sweet sounding single coil pickups that I've heard. So I have single double right now. So yeah, it's cool. I love it. Yeah, I think it's a worthwhile buy. Hey, Jodix, in Sweden it's Friday evening. Cool. So 7. That's even later than some of the guys in Europe. I know guys in London is about in the afternoon, right? It's about 4:35. Yeah. Grezera? How do you pronounce your name? I thought it's like Gregory. It's not. It's Grezagor. Is it? Hi, you're from Poland. Cool. Ken Nanook, good morning from Alaska. Nice. North to Alaska. I heard that song when I was young. Which part of Alaska are you from, Ken? Chris Wong, John, quick question. What's your daily practice routine? Try to learn from your great musicians. I don't really have a routine these days. Back when I was young, I didn't even have a routine, but I would like spend hours playing the guitar when I was younger, sometimes up to 5 hours non-stop, you know. And what I do with that 5 hours is just basically having fun. I would just put on a record back then, you know, and I would just play along with all the bands that I love. Yeah, and I would just jam along, you know, and just come up with parts on myself. I think that's the best way to do it. But of course, you have to have the basic, which I didn't have. Like I've said, I'm self-taught. I didn't have a teacher that teaches me about modes and scales and stuff like that. Techniques. All these things that I've learned, I picked up myself. And yeah, so what I did was to incorporate what I hear. When I hear Joe Walsh, play, and Don Felder and Eagles, I'll kind of like figure out. And sometimes I couldn't figure out stuff. Like I shared with a couple of you guys before, like I didn't even know what a tremolo and I've heard like Steve Lukather playing all this stuff and going woo woo woo, and I'm going like, how in the world did this? So I try to duplicate as the best I can, hit a harmonics at high gain, hit a G harmonics, and toy around with my tuners. I got that, but it's a pain to get back in tune. So there must be some way better. And then I chanced to look upon a Stratocaster, right? So Stratocaster has that arm, and I thought that arm is like a kickstand for the guitar. So when you can always like have it standing without it being falling over. That's how stupid I was. And I found out later on that's what a tremolo arm is for. Like woo woo. You go, okay, duh. And that's how naive I was. And I picked up all the stuff that I learned through the years. I never stopped learning. Even when I was playing the clubs. I have very limited knowledge back then of guitar playing, but I knew how to listen to parts by my ear and try to figure them out. And later on, as I advanced through my career as a session guitarist, I learned a whole lot more from accomplished musicians and arrangers who are kind enough to tell me, okay, this is what you should play, and these are the voice things, and this chord, and I kind of learned along the way. So yeah, God took care of me most of the time, and I kind of pick up stuff from there and then. And then later I became a record producer, and then I became an arranger, and then you start to chance upon stuff on your own, and you go, okay, so this is how it works. So I guess we, as guitarists, just don't stop learning. I listen to all sorts of stuff. I listen to all instruments. I listen to how a keyboard player approaches parts. His or her parts. I listen to how a horn player would approach a song. I listen to orchestration a lot. I love strings arrangement. And I have a good brother named Ricky. He's a great orchestrator. He does soundtrack and all that. But he did a couple of songs for me when I was a producer, and I used to be like, wow, I used to be amazed at his arrangement, his strings arrangement, and try to pick up something from there. So as a guitarist, I think one of the best regimens that you could ever have is just to have fun. If you have the time to spare, like weekends, and you can spend like 3-4 hours just playing with music that you love. I used to play along with groups like Bad Company, for example, Eagles, all my favorite groups. I would try to get the riffs that they're playing, like Life in a Fast Lane. I'll try to get that. Of course, the famous Hotel California solo. Try to get all these parts and try to commit them into memory, because all this stuff like we learn, like stuff when we play. Okay, it's going to be picked up by the mic anyway. So all this is from Hotel California. So all this. Can I see the higher? So all these are very country licks. This is how I picked it up, from learning the Hotel California solo. And not only that, a couple more. And you commit them into memory so that you can always call them out. And that's what you should do, basically. Sawadee Krap. Tawacha. Tony, how I prefer my Strat SSS. You get so many great pickups that fit like a stack and rails. No need to route like when I was younger. Yeah, that's true. There are scooters where you do play along with music online, yeah. But the thing is that you're playing music online, and some of the music might be foreign. What I'm trying to tell Chris is that you play something that is familiar, something you love, from Maroon 5 or whatever groups that you're listening right now, and then just kind of like make up your own parts. I think a guitarist should have really good imagination, like a bit of a role-playing thing, not the sexual kind, but the music kind. Back when I was young, I used to strap on my guitar. I used to have an SG back then, Doesn't belong to me. It belongs to my band leader when this band that I was in back when I was really young, 21. And I would strap on the SG, and I would imagine myself in the night, with my headphones on, like playing with these cats. I would be listening to Toto, England Dan, and John Coley, and whatever songs that are easy to play with. But then I would like add parts. I used to love this album by Michael McDonald called, the song, I Keep Forgetting, Not in Love. Yeah. So that album, I really love that album because it has Steve Lukather in it, and all this intricate, nice, simple guitar parts. And I would be inspired by what he does, and I would play that album over and over again. I would just stand up and hook and strap on my guitar, and I would play like parts that Steve Lukather won't be playing, like different parts. And I'll come up with parts on myself, and I would play solo where there is a gap, or little fill-ins and stuff like that. And I think that's the way to improve, because not only are you practicing your chops in a way, your licks and all that, but you're actually trying to fit into the song musically. And a lot of players missed out there because they practice a whole lot of skill sets and skills and intricate skills, but how do you apply them in a recording, in a song, when you're doing a song? How do you apply them? And some of them will have trouble translating that because of timing and because of trying to make the song more happening by what you play. And yeah, this after a while you kind of know that there's a certain formula to it that a lot of session guitarists will apply when they're doing fill-ins and how they approach certain things. But sometimes, once in a while, back in the days, in the 80s, in the early 90s, I would listen to songs and go like, whoa, that's an interesting part. And I listen to a whole lot of R&B. I love R&B music. I love Earth, Wind and Fire. And I hear all these guitar parts, and I go like, man, that's so cool. And we try to learn it. And once you start learning it, you learn something. And that's a great way to learn, I think. Yeah. So you must have imagination. Hitosunagi. Hi. Hi John, I want to buy my second guitar soon. Been playing with Squire Teddy since junior high. Can you recommend which guitar I should try next? Try and get Strat, man. Stratocaster is the way to go. So I hope you get that, Chris, because you're being quiet. So I don't know where you get all this I'm trying to tell you. So Sunagi, yeah, get a Strat. That'll be a good second guitar. Ben Cooper, hey John, this is Ben from the UK. I found you yesterday. Looking forward to catching up on your wisdom. Welcome, Ben. Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, right. Tony Howe, I bought 3 guitars from a collector. Hi, and Joe Santarani Ibanez. Whoa. Alright, he's messaging on it, trying to sell me his JS1CR30. One of 15 were apparently pricey though. Well, if there's, if you think that you want to get it, then think about it. And Joe Dix, have you ever made a review of this model, the Fusion THH Roasted FBB? I did that. I have it here. Yeah. But what's the FBB? Front roast? What's the FBB? Thomas on guitar, I spent too much time chasing gear early on. Find your own playing style and practice. Playing with the backing tracks on YouTube is a great way to get your chops. Have fun. Cheers from Norway. Hi Thomas. From Norway. Yeah, nice. Fall Putter. Ciao John. Let's start my weekend routine watching your live streaming. You're a bit late. I'm about to finish. I'll finish at 2. I'm going back to sleep. Yeah, we're a bit late, but better late than never, I guess. You can always watch this live stream again and replay it. Yeah, Tamon has a new line scooter, but they are a rehash of the old ones, so just different colors and stuff like that. Nothing too interesting, in my opinion, unless they come up with like different guitars. That'll be really nice. All right, Chris. I hope you do. Yeah, just don't get too caught up in whatever. I mean, all the skills and modes and all that are really good. They're really helpful. But how to apply them in a musical context is a different thing. So this is the thing that a lot of guitar players, young ones, missed out. The joy of making music, the joy of playing in a band. And even these days when I go to church, everybody's had their IEMs and all that. They just miss out a whole chunk of playing in a band, like listening to a drummer live and not through in ear, and listening to the bass guitar and trying to balance ourselves out like acoustically, like you can hear everyone. They missed out that whole thing, and not to mention the younger ones have missed out about amps, about how to tweak an amp, old school like a Fender Twin Reverb, how to get a good sound out of amp. They have missed out all that, except for some fortunate few who are able to afford like tube amps. But most of them will just buy and sell it off after a while, because they're so used to the digital format of multi-processors and effects processors and all that. So it's sad. Tony, how I get notifications when you're live, but I have to be up early on my Saturday. Yeah, sure, Tony. I'm going to leave soon, 15 minutes. So, and nothing like playing in the band. Yeah, I really love playing in the band. The interactions that we get with one another. So, the band that I play with right now, which I'm on tour with, I really enjoy playing in them. The other band that I enjoy playing with is the other band that I used to tour with in China, in Hong Kong, and those guys are great, a great bunch of guys. We will hang out together all the time. Every one of us will hang out together after the show, or, during our free time together. We'll go out for lunch together, we'll go out sightseeing together, we'll do everything together like a family, and that's great. Oh, Flame Bangle. Alright, okay. Yeah, I think I did a review of that, but not on the Flame. I had the same model, the Fusion T, which is here. Yeah, it's a nice guitar, Jodis. Earthquake. Squire Affinity is an awesome guitar for a second one. I had one back in high school, so it wish now that I hadn't. Yeah, but he's asking for a second guitar because he already had a Tally. So the other good thing was to have a Strat. No, not the Rubber Band. Rubber Band was before I went on tour with bands that doing concerts overseas. Rubber Band is like a house band, So yeah, we broke up. We didn't last too long. We lasted, I think, about a couple of months, about 3 months max. We broke up. Yeah. And Chris agree. I think I've been stuck in these modules, etc. And sometimes don't know how to apply whatever jam or write songs. Yeah, if you notice, like a lot of great players, they do sing, and they sing really well. Like guys like Dan Huff, incredible voice, incredible guitarist. Steve Lukather, great singer, and so many of them, like Joe Walsh, right? John Bonamassa, he sings really well. Our good friend John Mayer, a lot of them actually sing. George Benson, Jay Graydon. Okay, I can go on and on. Even Michael Landau, they all can sing and carry a tune. I guess we have to find our voice through the guitar in a way, so that our guitar becomes more vocal-like, more voice-like. So sometimes when we play, we can actually articulate what we have in mind as a singing voice, and that's how we make our guitar sings. And some of these guys that I mentioned, especially Michael Landau, he has a great tone. Back in the 80s, he was one of my favorite guitarists. In fact, I prefer his tone. To Steve Lukather. I love Steve Lukather's playing and phrasing, but I love Michael Landau's tone, and he has that singing tone that I really love. And when I heard him sing in one of Joni Mitchell's album, I go, okay, now I know why he sounds like that, because he's like a blues guy, blues voice, really rough and gruffy, but with a lot of soul in it, and that explains why he plays the way he does. So to be able to carry a tune, try to write, try to sing, that's a good way to start. To becoming more vocal-like in your playing. Yeah. Far part question about feeling on acoustic guitars. Do you like all mahogany acoustic guitar? Martin F. D15? Yeah. I really love spruce and rosewood on big sheds, but I'm thinking to buy. That's nice. The mahogany body is cool. Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to my friend Thomas today about acoustic guitars, and you can come out all sorts of woods, like exotic woods and whatever, but ultimately nothing beats a Sitka spruce with a rosewood back, Indian rosewood back, or a Sitka spruce on a mahogany. These are like the mainstay, and this sounds sweet. Tony Howe, best part about playing with a band is the jamming. You got it, you nail it, and spontaneous. Yeah. That's the part. When I was in a band back in the earlier days, sometimes we will open up the night with the first set, and in the club, and this is like a big disco club that we were playing in with live band, and the first set is normally kind of laid back because there's not much people, a couple, maybe 2 or 3 couples, a couple of guys who are early birds, and they are like the residue from the happy hour session. So the main crowd will probably come in during our 3rd set or 4th set, but the first set was like kind of chill. So we would jam, we would just play a song and we just kind of like improvise. We have keyboard solo, we had 2 guitarists back then, 2 guitar solo, bass solo and stuff like that. We would do impromptu stuff, and that's the best part of the evening. And for a simple tune like, say, instrumental, we can just spend like 15 minutes to 20 minutes just jamming and trying out different things, and that's a good way to kind of open up the set too. And later on, when the crowd started coming in, then we would play our top 40 stuff, and we would just do what we usually do, like the showmanship, the dancing, the sliding on the floor and stuff like that, and that'd be fun too. Because if you're into that sort of things, and I am so blessed to be playing the club because we have like American bands. I think I mentioned this a couple of times, like American bands coming in from Hawaii, from Chicago, from Detroit, black bands. They're really good, and you can see firsthand how they incorporate showmanship with their music. Music is good. The dance step with the horn section. Even had Shaka Khan coming in at one time, and I'm so blessed to be like with them and to talk with them, find out what's life like in the States, and they'll try to find out how our livelihood is like in Singapore. And some of them actually stayed back and became permanent residents in Singapore. So yeah, some of my black brothers, yeah, they're nice. We get some weird ones too, but we get weird Chinese people anywhere. So it happens to all races of people. But it's a good experience for me because we get to talk to Aussies. That was back in the other band. I get to talk with British musicians, Australians, and all over the world. And yeah, I think we musicians are a different lot. We tend to get along just by hanging out, and talking music, talking about guitars. And I've met some incredible players, guys who are like really good, but they'll be so humble, and they're so willing to share, and it's amazing. Like we would sit down and I will be talking to an Australian guitarist or an American guitarist, and he'll be probably a couple of years older than me, or we're probably the same age, or he might be younger than me, but he'll be like really, really good. And we just sit down over a cup of coffee and we just share about our signal chain, what sort of effects are we using, what sort of settings, what's our preference, and we just talk guitar. And there was no agenda, there was no politics, there was nothing. There was just like pure brotherhood, pure comradeship with music, and that's amazing. I miss all that, KDL, where you're from? Do you have any tips on how to improve guitar improvisation? I always find myself running out of ideas and playing the same riff over and over again. Well, you can always get a teacher. And if not, then like what I mentioned earlier on is to listen to other music and learn other guitar parts that you never attempted before. That's one way to do it. It all seems and sounds very tedious, but it's not. If you had the passion, you have the drive to do what you wanted to do, you can do it. You know, you can actually sauce around and look out for little gems, little. What I mean by gems are like little phrases, you know, and learn it and commit them into memory and call them up next time. Yeah. Joe Dick's saying goodbye. All right, you take care. You pick up your kid. Wow. Okay, have fun. Yeah, Liu is my all-time favorite. You know, I'm so inspired by him. Earthquake. What was the question? Earthquake. Oh, okay. You're talking about Infinity is a Strat. Yeah. Because the Affinity has Taddy too. Yeah. Scooter, cherry wood, spruce top and back, rosewood, maple neck. Nice. But I wouldn't want. We're talking about acoustic guitars, so I wouldn't want a maple neck for my acoustic guitar. I would like a mahogany neck. That's why I prefer. You know, and not even a rosewood neck. A mahogany neck with Indian rosewood fretboard. Yeah, that'll be nice. Traditionalist. You know. Chris Wong. All right, you take care. Good night. Tony Howe. Yeah, the showmanship. You are entertaining after all. Yes, we do. I've been so blessed. I'm glad. Y'all got any more questions? Lola, hola, from Barcelona. Oh, that rhymes. You can actually make a song out of it. Hola, Lola, Barcelona. Esplanades. Espana, yeah, Espanol. Oh, I'm getting sleepy right now. What's this? Ganox, new to your channel. What's your favorite 80s bands? I love Depeche Mode. Yeah, I used to listen to some of these guys. You know, I used to love. What band was Boy George on? I love Boy George music. You know, in the 80s, my favorite band was actually Toto. You know, go figure. Journey. Survivor, you guys remember Survivor, Eye of the Tiger? But Eye of the Tiger is an all-time hit, right? But they have other songs, and they write really good songs. And then you have the like, you know, guys like Players. Remember Players? Baby Come Back. And then what's that band? Depeche Mode. What's the other one that I really love? Oh man. What's that band? Oh, now I like this guy called Nick Kishore. Remember you guys? Nick Kishore? Wouldn't it be good? Oh, I love that song. And he has a lot of songs that I really like. You know. Yeah, what club? A culture club. That's right, culture club. Tears for Fears too. Yeah, I love Tears for Fears. And then there's this other group that I forgot the name. Then Swing Out Sisters, you know, that's later on. I love the song. Break Out, right? That's the song. Okay. And then yeah, there are a couple of bands that I liked during the 80s. 80s was the best time. You have Pepper Natter, you know, you have Starship. We built the city. All right, all these are all like songs that we do all the time in our set. You know. Orion, how do you deal with singers with bad timing, can't sing in tune? We fire them. Yeah, we do. We actually just ask, we just tell them that it's not working out. Yeah, you know, that's it. We let them go. You know, we could get another singer in. But we seldom have that because most of the singers that I've dealt with are really good singers. You know, Bruno. Yeah, soon. I'm going to sleep soon. Spend up. That's it. You are the man, Orion. You always know where Uncle is thinking of. Yeah, Spandau Ballet. I love that group a lot. Yeah. These are like songs that would bring me back. You know, I was talking about this last time about how certain songs would bring you back to a area or a time period, and songs like True, right? Well, every time that song comes out, I remember what I was doing back in the early '80s. You know, with my present wife Dora, and how was it like? It's even some like old Canton pop songs. You know, it would take me back to the clubs that I used to play. In Boston, yes, Bruno. Boston is great. So many bands back then, you know, they're all great bands. Eagles has been my all-time favorite since 1975. You know, I listened to Eagles way back then, and always been my favorite group. And then it came to Poco. I love Poco, the Flying Burrito Brothers, right? Allman Brothers, and later on to Blue Prairie League. These are the countries. This is the countryside of me, and then ultimately it's Vince Gill when he became a solo artist, and there's Barney Raitt, Firefall, right, and then of course there's James Taylor. James Taylor's album in the '80s was really good. You know, it features a whole lot of sessionists that are really good, like Leo Cantel. Ross Cantel, sorry, and what's this guy? Waddy Wattel, and Daddy Kochma, a whole lot of guys. They are really great players, great slide players, and I listen to Jackson Brown a lot. I love David Lindley playing, and Linda Ronstadt. Great music back then. All this emotional, simple stuff. And I think that's where my interest started with all the little parts that we can do with our acoustic guitars or with our slide, and simple parts. Like I love this guy, J.D. Souther, right? Great songwriter and great vocal. I love his song. He wrote a lot of songs with Eagles, and like Fateless Love. It's a great simple song, but there's so much thing going on, the chord changes and the melody, and that got me like intrigued, like how a melody could be formed by different chord changes, and how this whole thing shifted, and like even songs like, for example, from the Beatles, like Fool on the Hill. I think that's my all-time favorite Beatles song, because there's so many things going on in that song, from major to minor and whatever, in the song itself, the lyrics. There's so much things going on there. So I just love all this. Nowadays it's like some of the songs are like, oh man, yeah, I miss those times. Steely Dan, yeah, of course, Steely Dan. Or Missing Persons. Well, you're getting onto the deep end here. Split Ends. Oh man, this is a long time ago. Yeah, Foreigner. Yeah, Foreigner in the get-go, when they first had their first album, I thought it was pretty good, like a real hard rock. That's the melodic age. But after that, it kind of went commercial. on me, and I didn't follow them a whole lot. I love their first 3 to 4 albums. The first album called Foreigner, the second one is called Double Vision, which I love. It was so edgy. And then there's another one, I think it's called Dirty White Boy or something like that, and that was pretty nice too. But after that, oh, there's another group called Tubes. Remember Tubes? Yeah, I love that group because you had David Foster and you know, doing the production, and Steve Lukather on guitars. But I just love the whole madness about that group. You know, these lyrics and songs like 50 Feet Woman and this song called Sushi. I love it. Flock of Seagulls. Yeah. Flock of Seagulls is nice. Orion, as a producer, have you ever dealt with a band that was so bad you nearly gave up? I don't do bands, fortunately. I think that would be a big challenge. I do mostly singers and artists. So the singers that I work with are pretty good, you know. And a lot of them are from Taiwan, so they kind of like really respectful to the producers and all that. And yeah, I haven't done any band yet, you know. Cars, yes, I love Cars. And this guy, what's his name? Vino. What's his name? Oh man. See? This is what OH does to you. You kind of like forgot what you're trying to say. Gino Vanelli, sorry. Yeah, Gino Vanelli. I love him so much because he's a great songwriter and a great vocal range. And Daryl Strumer used to play for him, like, you know, on guitar. And one of my favorite songs is Put Your Head on My Shoulder, right? And it's got this great guitar solo, man. And then you had like Phil Collins and Genesis, Easy Lover, you know, songs like that, you know, great guitar parts. So it's like incredible. And horn sections and everything. Ramones, yes, I love Ramones. Ice House. Okay, you guys are all showing your real color, your true color, where you guys are from. Yeah, all this like crazy, you know. Okay, so we come back. Afan Gomez, can you connect an amp to a PA? Of course you can. You can either mic it out, or some amps have a DI out, so you can actually kind of like DI out, but it doesn't sound good. So the best way to have an amp on a PA is to mic it out. You know, stick a 57, and then you're good to go. Unless the amp like this, like, you know, you have an amp like this that has a cap sim out, then you can just hook that to the PA. Yeah, without miking it up, it will work. Tubes, one's your home. Yeah, I like them. They're so crazy. I used to play them when I'm cycling. Yeah, when I'm cycling, like late at night, I would put Tubes on, and it would just brighten my day, you know. This is a group called Sea Wind. You guys remember Sea Wind? Great horn section and great songs. You know, they're like jazz, you know, but nice music. And then there's Rick Springfield. Remember Rick Springfield? Oh man, those were days. RM, I need a new situation. I'm looking at all my CDs here and I'm getting like goosebumps because we're talking about them mostly. And you know this group that I really love? Brett. You guys remember Brett? David Gates, right? I love that group so much because there's so much melody in them. Lyric wise, they're okay, you know, not too bad. But when it comes to melody, David Gates is like crazy. You know, and 4 of them are all sessionists. I saw the musicians that are phenomenal, you know, really great players. Right? There's Larry Kachel, you know, and there's another guy who the keyboard player who comes in and out, play bass and play guitar like nothing. He does keyboard parts, create incredible organ solo and all that. instrumentalists, but they're all so talented. You know, Brett was great. Yeah, Brett. I love Brett. You know, America. Yeah, I love America too. I listened to America since I was like 14 years old. Yeah, and back then was Sandman. Remember the song Sandman? I understand. You know, and it's simple. That's A minor. Remember, it's A minor. And then there's another song, a ballad. I need you. I need you. I used to laugh. I used to cry. Yeah. So those are really simple songs to play. These are the songs that that will bring me, bring me back to the era. I remember trying to play the guitar in the school courtyard. And Rolling Stones, NJ. Remember NJ? NJ. All these songs are easy to play. Yeah. So those were the formative years of my music upbringing. Yeah, I did. Gino Vanelli, I brought it out. Put Your Head on My Shoulder. And there's this album called Black Cars, which I absolutely love. Yeah. Yeah, Horse With No Name. Yeah, right. So all these are all... this is where my Singaporean Chinese upbringing comes in. This is where... And remember this group called Climax Blues Band? Y'all remember Climax Blues Band? There's one song from there. Da, da, da. I need you. Oh, I love that song so much. But then, so one hit wonder. I mean, that's the only song that they're famous for. Much later on came groups like Swing Out Sisters, Rick, what's this guy? Rick something. That guy that did what's the song? Rick Price, right? And then there's what's this guy called? Forgot the name, but he has really good songs in his albums. Anyway, it'll come to me. Yeah, Cheap Trick is good. And Carlos Rios, bro. Carlos Rios actually did a lot of session. He did a session with this group. Man, you see, I forgot all these groups now. Pablo Cruz, Pablo Cruz. I love Pablo Cruz, but there was an album that Carlos Rios did incredible solo called "Don't You." Oh, I forgot the song, but that's an incredible guitar solo. And I was wondering, that is not from any of the guys who in Pablo Cruz. They don't play like that. Found out it was Carlos Rios. Incredible sessionist. Oh yeah, Jim Croce. Jim Croce has a special place in my heart because some of his songs are really, 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 really nice. Like "Time in a Bottle," so many of them, and it's such a waste that incredibly talented musicians have to go so early, so young. And it wasn't even because of drug abuse or anything. I believe he died in a plane crash or something like that. Right? So. Couldn't get it right. Which one is this from? I forgot. From Cheap Trick? What? From Gino Vanelli? What? City Boy? No, I have not heard of City Boy. I heard of City Bay Rollers. Bay City Rollers. Yeah, so they had boys band back then too. Bay City Rollers, Sean Cassidy, David Cassidy, even earlier on. So these are all the boys band back then. Osborne Brothers, but they can play. They can sing. They can play. Don McLaren, yes. B-52, yeah, love B-52s. They had a hit, right? I forgot. And then this song. Yeah, this song, Uh, Remember this song called Jungle Boy? Oh, man, I hear the song every night when I was playing the clubs. Every night, it was the DJs would put it on. It was like the anthem for all clubs. Jungle Boy, and the other one, um, what's the song by Laura Branigan? Oh, da, da, da. What's the song called? Self Control. Yeah, and that guitar part was done by Michael Lindau. Yeah, and that song is another anthem. It was so hard, you know. Oh, really, Tony? Yeah. Yeah, James, I just mentioned Climax Blues Band. Climax Blues Band had a song. It's a hit. I had this album here from Climax Blues Band. See this? Yeah. And they have a hit song called I Love You. Yeah, that's the song. Really well written song. And Ross Stewart, don't forget Ross Stewart. Yeah, Tarzan Boy. Ross Stewart is like the main staple of my musical upbringing ever since I was really young. Ever since I heard Sailing. And I didn't actually catch up on his history with before that, you know, with Maggie May and even way before that. When he was with Faces, I didn't even get that. I only started hearing him back in 1975 or 74 with the song Sailing, and from then I became a fan. You know, right after the Sailing album, there was this Town, the second album, which is really good. And then later on, subsequent albums, I just kind of bought every album that he had until the until maybe the mid '80s. I stopped buying his albums because he got kind of mediocre after that. But he always had this great musicality about him, great songs. Okay. Oh yeah, Tony, I understand, but you can tell after a while. It's the tone. Yeah, Michael Landau used to be a stickler for good strat tones. And he plays the arm a little bit, even though their styles are a bit similar, he plays the arm very differently from Steve Lukather. And he's not a shredder. He's not really like a shredder like Steve Lukather. He plays really meaningful lines, you know. And that's why I love about his playing, you know. Well, we are now in a rabbit hole right now. You guys are all going into all those songs that bring up memories. So cool. Christopher Cross, yes. I love the first Christopher Cross album with Sailing and Ride with the Wind, you know, and yeah, there's a whole lot of songs. And then remember this group called Southern Brothers, Arms and Mary. But I'm actually looking at another album that they made, which I thought was really good songs, you know, and done by a lot of session players. And there are a couple albums there back then that had really good session players, and this is where I actually went into the rabbit hole of following Steve Lukather and Studio Cats, you know. Sergio Mendes, for example, you know, I picked up Michael Landau. I just kind of followed the trail. Dan Huff, you know, Jay Graydon, and even back then, like groups like Madden Transfer was really happening. You remember, Madden Transfer, and yeah, those were the good old days. Anyway, yes, I know Blondie. I love Blondie. Yes, you're right, Orion. Morning, Chris. Yeah, you too, Scooter. You take care. I gotta go too. I gotta go. I gotta head out. I gotta head out to bed. Yeah. If I don't head out of bed soon, I'll be talking like I don't know what I'm talking about. Hey, thank you, Mark. Thank you for that lovely coffee. Oh, really? I did? Which guitar did I help you buy, Mark? Hi, Adrian from Transylvania. Yeah, Drager is like, you know. Yes, Eric Johnson played one of the songs in the first album. You know. Which part of Transylvania? I want to ask you, Adrian, how big is Transylvania? It's really big. Like, are there towns in Transylvania itself, or is it like is it as big as Germany or Bavaria, or how big is Transylvania? I've like read a lot of stuff about Transylvania, especially from the Dracula, anything to do with vampires, but I don't actually know how big Transylvania is. Hey, thank you, Chris, for the coffee. Yeah. Ben Cooper, ever tried the Joe Thomas Squire? I had one, so it had regretted ever since. No, I haven't tried one yet. Yeah. Is it good? Oh, Mark, you end up buying a Sir. Cool. The Sir will set you back. You can buy a lot of guitars from Harley Benton with the price of that one Sir. Alright, Adrian. What? Not that big. That's big, dude. 100,000, 290 km. That's big. But are there like a lot of forests and wooded areas as opposed to like cities and towns, like modern cities and towns? Because all I'm thinking about Transylvania is that it's a heavily wooded area with castles and stuff like that, maybe villages, but it's not like that, right? It's actually quite a modern country, right? Have you heard of BS? Which BS? Ben Camel? No. Mark, can only play one at a time. Why? Which Sir do you buy in the end? Which Sir do you get in the end? A Strat, Tally? No, never heard of these guys. Well, James, you have quite a vast knowledge of some of these groups that I never heard before. I know that whatever we are hearing in Singapore is not the whole picture. I'm sure there are other groups that I never heard before, and they're all great. Right. A lot of British bands that we missed out. You know, Mark, I'm not Steve Vibe, and I bought a Tally, like a Blues Boy, really, but more expensive. Okay, whatever turns you on, man. You know, I think if when it comes down to like expensive guitars, it really depends on where you're at. If you can afford a big guitar, expensive guitar, then go for it. As long as you pick up and play, don't buy an expensive guitar and it turns out to be like a pink elephant, and you just have it hung up there and not playing it. That'll be a waste of money. But I think if you have an expensive guitar and you play all the time, I think it's worth the money. Yeah. Adrian, yeah, Black Forest was the name. It has wow. Also, it's wild basically. Okay. So are there like modern towns like what you find in, say, in Berlin or in Prague, big towns like that in Transylvania, or is it just like mostly forest? Chris, the guitar player in Chicago is really good. Oh yeah, he shot himself accidentally. Yeah. There are 12 districts, about 20 cities, some of them kind of big. Ah, interesting, Adrian. A lot of forests. Okay. So do you guys head out to the forest and hunt, like deers and stuff like that, or just leave them alone because what do you guys do? Like, since there's so much forest, or are these like protected areas? I'm curious because I've heard so much of Transylvania, but know nothing about Transylvania because the word Transylvania is so interesting. Everybody just think of Transylvania as the home of vampires, which I know is not true, but I just want to know how is it like in Transylvania. Yeah, I have only a couple of neighbors, and the rest is forest deers and stuff. Oh, cool. Right, so I guess you guys will do a lot of hunting, right, in the spare time. Earthquake, yeah, the Who, Pete Townsend. Terry Cat, that's right. You got it, James. That's why I have a couple of 100 watts. You frighten the deers and the bears away. Nice. You bet they hunt at the supermarket mostly. Why? I don't think so. I think these guys, some of them are really good hunters. Yeah. So what do you call yourselves as in Transylvania? Like, in Germany they call themselves Germans. In Italy they call themselves Italianos. Italians. Yeah, Italians. Are Singaporeans in the British Isles, British, America. So how do you call yourself in Transylvania? Sorry, Adrian, I'm kind of like interviewing you and just interested in your country. I'm sure a couple of guys here will be interested to know a little bit more about Transylvania. Oh, no, a lot of hunting. Mark is right. Nice. So, okay, so Romania. So, basically, Transylvania is part of Romania. Okay, I'm really bad at geography. Right? So, okay. Now I understand. So, you guys are, yeah, right. Now it makes sense. Yeah, Romanians, correct. Cool. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you for the education. Steve Morse, yes. They had a group. Steve Morse had a group. What's the name of the group? I remember one of the songs, General E. Lee, which I absolutely love. Steve Morse group is, what's his band called? Ah, man. Someone help me out here. He had a group. Steve Morse has a group. And then later, he went solo, and then he joined Kansas, right? Now he's with Deep Purple. You know about Terry Kath? How? Yeah, Dixie Drex. That's right. Right. You got it. You know about Terry Kath, Chris? There's this story that came about when Jimi Hendrix went to a club where Chicago was playing, and then Jimmy actually went up to one of the guys in Chicago and said, your guitar player is really happening. He can outplay me anytime. That's from Jimi Hendrix. So Terry Kath is just up there. He's way up there, Yeah, Dixie Drex. I had a couple of their albums too, Thank you, Adrian. Yeah, I think it suited Deep Purple better than Joe Santarani. Italiano. Italiano. Oh, that was later on. After he left Dixie Drex, he had a Steve Morse band, and then he went to join Kansas for a while, which is nice because his playing really suited Kansas. And then after that, he went and joined Deep Purple. Remember this band called Yes? I love the band. I mean, it's like so out there. I would listen to them and I'll go like in another dimension. Because the music is so they call it improvised rock and all that, but it's more like medieval kind of stuff and really interesting guitar playing by what's his name, the guitarist called, I remember one of his name is Howe, Greg Howe, whatever, I forgot. And then later on this other guy came in during Owner a Lonely Heart. This is a great session, this guy. great player too, incredible guitarist. But I listened to Yes before Own the Rolling Heart, and I really dig their music. I think it's pretty cool. Steve Howe, that's right. Great. And then you had groups like earlier on, I thought Jimi Hendrix died in a motorcycle crash. That's what I heard. So earlier on, you have groups like Uriah Heep. Remember this guys? Uriah Heep, and then Grand Funk Railroad, Deep Purple, Free. What's the other band? So many bands back then. Some of them I just couldn't remember anymore. Yeah, Trevor Rabin. That's right. Trevor Rabin is great. He's such a great player. Stephen Miller, and Steve Miller's band. Remember Steve Miller's band? Yeah. And then you have what's the other girl? What's the other group called? UFO. Yeah. All right, Adrian. Romanian language is a Neo-Latin one, like French, Italian, and Spanish. But because we have a way older ancestors than Latin ones, we have a strange accent like the Slav. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. And that's why everybody kind of think that like places like in Romania, like the Transylvania language, where it's very different. There's this different accents that you're talking about, and that's why they find it really endearing to them and really like mystifying for them, and that's how all this folklore comes in. Alan, which is your acoustic guitar? Which amp are you using to play it with? Hi Don, Dick Fish. Guten Tag. Alan, I have a couple of acoustic guitars that I really like. All right, Adrian, I will. In fact, there is a travel bubble that's happening between Singapore and Germany right now. And I believe Italy is in the list too. So, yeah, it'll be great. Yeah. Anyway, coming back to Alan. I have a Martin D35. I have a Taylor 510, if I'm not mistaken. I have a couple of Harley Bentons. I have a Enya T10 OM, which I absolutely love, which I use for my live gigs. So I guess that's where your question is from. I don't play through an amp, even on live, because on stage we are all using IEMs. So I would like I have this preamp pedal that I use. Is it here or? Anyway, the preamp that I'm used for my stage use for acoustic guitar is called a Stageman. So I love this preamp. I used to use a Arabex Venue, which is good. It's like a DI plus preamp, has a tuner built in and all that. But I find the Stageman sounded better. And the thing about the Stageman is that you can have chorus and reverb in it, so you don't have to be dependent on the sound guys to feed you reverb and stuff like that. So you can actually have it. I try to keep it like really low and not too obtrusive, so that the main house guy can still add in a little bit more reverb. But I just want to have it for monitoring so that I sounded good. And I like the preamp. The preamp really have that little pedal has it's not really little. It's about the same size as most New X pedals, like this. Same size, but great preamp, great EQ, yeah. And it has a looper built in. But I've spoken to the guys in New X, and the engineers are so kind to kind of like send me a firmware to kind of to disable the looper, because it got me into trouble a couple of times to disable the looper and have a mute switch going on. So it's good. So I'm using that. I'm just using that for my acoustic guitar. Ben Cooper, Greg Cott does a review of the Joe Thurman Squire. All I can say is that he makes it sound a lot better than he can. But the neck is slant. Please try and find one. Yeah, I'll see. I'll see. Hi Esther. I was telling people about your birthday gift and how much I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this. I haven't listened to this yet, no. But I will in time. Which pick do I use for my acoustic playing? I use two currents. So these are the picks that I use. This is from Dunlop, right? Two different gauges, right? So I use 0.73 and 0.60. So the 0.60 is a lighter gray. This I use for mostly strumming because it's softer. I use the 0.73 for when I'm doing a whole lot of arpeggios instead of strumming, which I can also do, but I just find that the lighter one sounds better with strumming. This I use the heavier ones I use for this 0.73, which is not really heavy, but a little bit more thicker. I use for arpeggios and strumming at the same time. So sometimes even for solo lines, I would use this pick. And yeah, these are the two picks that I would use for my acoustic guitar playing. Don Dickfish? I'm not laughing. I find it funny. No, I don't find it funny. You can call yourself whatever you want, honey. You call yourself a Dickfish. Is that a real name, Don? Is that a real name? Is that a German name? Foghack, yes. Earthquake. That's it. Foghack. I love that group. You know, I don't listen to a lot of their music, but I just like the name of the group, Foghack. I think I heard a couple of them. Couple of tracks. They're real good. And Blood, Sweat and Tears, yes. And there's another group called Rare Earth. Remember Rare Earth? I just want to celebrate. Remember that song? Yeah. Those are good songs. I remember the times back then when I first heard the song Lady in Black by Uriah Heep, and it was in the key of A minor, and it was so simple to play, and that was way back then. And I remember the songs are really easy, you know, easy to learn, and that's how they became so popular. But then on the flip side of the coin, I hear stuff from Cliff Richard. And Cliff Richard at that time, back in the early 70s, he's already like embarking on a solo career. And he had songs like Devil Woman. Remember Devil Woman? She was a devil woman, an evil under mine. And those are like intricate songs, you know, nice songs, but great guitar parts. But, you know, a little bit more complicated than some of the songs that we heard. Like songs from America and stuff like that. And then there's Olivia Newton-John, which I absolutely love. I had a crush on her when I was young. I still do. I think she's such a beautiful creature, not just as her looks, but her voice. Oh man, that girl can sing. I loved her, you know. And her songs, like, you know, my favorite songs are like "Have You Ever Been Mellowed," you know. Great songs, like, you know, make you kind of like floating. What's the other song? Have You Ever and Don't Stop Believing, my absolute favorite. And those are really nice produced songs by John Farrar, who was her producer. Great guitar player, great vocalist. He sounded a bit like Cliff Richard actually, and yeah, great productions, you know, and the string lines and the arrangements. And I was a fan of Olivia Newton-John ever since then, you know, way before then when she sang Jolene. Remember the song Jolene, 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 Jolene? Like, what was the song? Da, 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 da. If you love me, let me know. Remember the song, the old country songs? I was a fan of her back then, you know, and still a fan. Yeah. So Olivia Newton-John is very instrumental in my music upbringing because of the way her vocal is and the way she delivered her vocal and the music. Basically, the songs that was in the album, you know. Oh, it's a nickname. Ah, so okay, so you're okay, okay. So you must be pretty angry with some of the fishes that you used to fish. So the ones that got away, stick a fish. Dumb cough, stick a fish. You know. What? Do I change pick mid song? No, I don't do that, Van Hitch. On my acoustic guitar, on my end ear, I have it's sort of a rubber thing that sticks on to the headstock, right? So it's a pick holder basically. So I have my picks there just in case, especially when you're doing strumming, your picks will fly sometimes. So I always have a spare there. I don't do it for my electric guitar though. Yeah, I think that'll be like pretty ugly. For acoustic guitar, yeah, I can get away with that. Good. So you know what I'm talking about. Devil Woman. There are two Devil Womans. The other one is by, what's the guy called? Oh man. Devil Woman. Devil Woman, please let me go. That's the old Devil Woman. The other Devil Woman is from Cliff Richard. I think that's. Oh yes, James, you hit it. Little Rubber Band, my all-time favorite Aussie band. Other than what's the other one? Men at Work, which I absolutely love. Yeah, and there's another band from Australia which I really love. Jon Farnham. Jon Farnham joined a Little Rubber Band much later on, but the original singer what's his name? I forgot his name. That I love his vocal too. And the band was great ever since they came out with Happy Anniversary. Yeah, and they have great guitar players. Anyway, those were the days. And then we have Billy Idol. Remember Billy Idol? Quiet Wedding. Rebel Yell. Alright guys, I gotta go. I gotta go sleep. So you guys take care of yourself, right? And Adrian, I'll take up on your offer. If I visit Transylvania, I'll hit you up. Yeah, that country looks very interesting to me. So once again, I want to thank those guys who passed me birthday presents from Jeanette Davis and Yin Long or Mike from City Music, and you, my dear Esther. Thank you for all your birthday gifts, which is not due yet. My birthday is next week, so yeah. But thank you for the early birthday gifts. Yeah. David Briggs, yeah, that's the other guy, a tall, lanky guy. Great, phenomenal guitar player. Forgot their names. Yes, Grant Sherrock is the vocalist, the lead vocalist, right? And then they have a bassist later on, an American guy that sang Night Owl. Yeah, and then I think he's the only remaining Little River Band member right now. They're still on tour, all new members. All right, I gotta go. So you guys take care of yourself. Let me just say a short prayer for you guys. Well, I thank you, Lord. I just pray the Lord for my brothers and sisters here in this live stream, that Lord, you will watch over them and protect them, Lord, from sicknesses, from the virus. Keep them safe, Lord, from harm. Also pray the Lord that you would inject more inspiration and more joy in their music making, Lord, because most of them are guitarists. Lord, pray that Lord that you'll find even further joy in their music making, and that Lord that you will teach them, Lord, things to play, things that that sometimes we get from you through inspiration, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I pray all this in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Alright, so God bless you guys. Stay safe. I won't be doing live stream next week because, like I said before, I'll be very tied up with my work. The videos will be will be lessened. So I try to come up with videos in between my work schedule if I can, if I'm not too tired. But I'm anticipating like a very tiring 3 to 4 weeks from today. So yeah, if you guys are praying people and pray for me, yeah, and once the project is finished, I'll see you guys in full swing again. Yeah, but don't worry, I'll miss you guys, so I'll still come out with videos when I have the time, right? So you take care. Ciao. God bless.